even though we're in the off season, we know that the NFL really never stops. And there's some important dates that are coming up. Actually, this week and for the next week, it's going to be the NFL scouting combine. So we're going to get to see QBs do their drills, the wide receivers, the offensive linemen, cornerbacks, linebackers. Every single position group that has the potential of getting drafted is going to be going through their drills. And that's a very exciting time, especially for people who love the draft. And then speaking of the draft, in about 2 months, roughly, the end of April, there will be the draft. Of course, the first round is on the first date, and then the second, third, and fourth round is the following day, and then the fifth, sixth, and seventh is on the last day of the draft. So it's a very, very busy time in the NFL. But before we even get to the draft, we got to get through the negotiation period for free agents, the legal tampering period, which I still think is a waste of time, but it is what it is. But that starts on March 10th. And then March 12th, that opens the new league year for the NFL. So all free agents, they are free to sign anywhere and make it official. So busy times in the NFL, but what about for the Baltimore Ravens specifically? Of course, all those dates that we talked about apply to them, but there's an even more important date for the Baltimore Ravens, and that's actually tomorrow, and I'm gonna tell you why. Before we get into it, Team Keep It Clean, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications on, and leave a like on the video because it helps out a lot so you can stay up to date with everything that's going down with our favorite football team, the Baltimore Ravens. Now, we went over all these very, very important dates for the NFL, but why is tomorrow so crucial to the Baltimore Ravens? Well, it's because we should finally be getting some answers directly from the team. This is from an article that Jeff Zrebiec posted on The Athletic today. It says, it's an excerpt from it. It says, DeCosta and Coach John Harbaugh are scheduled to speak to reporters on Tuesday. And so now we finally get to hear from them. This is something that I've been waiting on for a long time. I know a lot of y'all have been waiting on it too. And we talked about this. We talked about how it was weird because we hadn't been hearing anything from the Ravens because they've certainly had a lot of stuff going on. Some stuff within the organization, some stuff about the organization that doesn't directly impact it necessarily, kind of, sort. It's just been a crazy offseason for the Baltimore Ravens. And it's like, it seems like we can't go 2 days without hearing something crazy revolving a current Baltimore Raven, a former Baltimore Raven. It has just been wild because we really thought, I thought going into this offseason, the worst that could happen, obviously they lose in the playoffs. Okay, that sucked. But then after that, it's, Lamar, he ain't get the MVP. Okay, but then there's been all this Justin Tucker stuff. It's like, oh my goodness. Then there was the Terrell Suggs and Marshall Yonder not making it to the Hall of Fame. Like, oh, okay. But then, and I thought that would be the last that we would hear of Terrell Suggs, but no, the whole incident that happened, and he's not a Baltimore Raven right now, but still. Then the whole Steve, it's just been a mess after mess after mess. But let's just read what Jeff Zrebiec said in the article. He said, they'll undoubtedly be asked about the status of kicker Justin Tucker, who has been accused by 16 massage therapists of improper sexual conduct as part of the investigation by the Baltimore Banner. Now, with that, it came out a couple days ago at the end of last week that the NFL, they're starting their investigation now with that too. So they're beginning to interview these people who have been accusing Justin Tucker of his inappropriate behavior. So they're taking their steps through their legal process. And then so we'll see what happens. Now, I know the Baltimore Ravens, because I'm not expecting to get full-blown, all right, Ravens going to go into detail about X, Y, and Z, and this is what we're going to do. I can't expect that. But I don't think we're letting the NFL handle that matter, and we'll look into it. We'll let the NFL conclude their investigation. We're still getting all the facts. I don't really think that's going to cut it. I really don't. I don't think one of those vague general answers is going to cut. And I know they're not going to want to talk about it. I know they're going to want to shy away from it. I know Chad Steele is going to be very, very busy come tomorrow during that presser, especially if I'm sure they going through everything with him. They talking about everything with him. Like, hey, if somebody tries to ask this or let these people in the presser, we ain't talking about this. We ain't, whatever it may be. I'm sure he's going to be extremely busy. But there's going to be heat on the Baltimore Ravens, depending on exactly how they address this. And obviously, it's an investigation. So the investigation does have to run its course, so I get that completely. But this is a very, very big day, significant interview for the Baltimore Ravens, specifically with John Harbaugh and Eric DeCosta. And Jeff Ribick also said the following. He said, the Ravens do their homework on the available kickers every offseason, but the top kicking prospects, Miami's Andres Borregales, Florida State's Ryan Fitzgerald. Look at that. Miami and Florida State, that rivalry right there. And they both happen to have the top kickers. Anyway, he said Arizona's Tyler Loop and Pittsburgh's Ben Sauls are certainly worth paying attention to this draft season. So Jeff Zrebick giving everybody like a little, hey, like, those are some guys to look out for, especially for the Baltimore Ravens, depending on how things go. So tomorrow's going to be big, and I'm just very, very interested to see how the Baltimore Ravens address this moving forward. So now we reach my favorite part of these videos where we get to feature your questions. If you would like to take part in it, you can send an email to teamkeepitclean@gmail.com, or for the patrons, you can send a DM directly on Patreon. And if you'd like to become one, you can go to patreon.com/Ingravenvids, and somebody did that. Shout out to our newest Team Keep It Clean patron, my guy Sebastian, and he not only became a patron, which we appreciate. Thank you, Sebastian. He sent in the first question to get us kicked off today. He said, how are you? We're good. We're pretty good. How are you, Sebastian? I hope you're doing even better, and thanks again for becoming a Team Keep It Clean patron. He said, watching since 2020. Woo, that's a long time, my friend. Appreciate that. He said, first question here. I know you get a lot of questions about the third wide receiver and DB, but I think I have a solution. And what's great about mine is we already have them. Oh, okay. Let's see what our guy's talking about. He said, I think we roll with Tez as wide receiver 3. Ooh, Tez Walker as wide receiver 3. That will be interesting. That will be a significant role. Now, something that I have been talking about is that I think the Baltimore Ravens, a perfect fit for a wide receiver 3 for them, would be somebody who's a deep threat, Tez Walker, somebody with some good size on him. He seems bigger than what he is. I think he's like 6'1", right? But yeah, I just that jump ball wide receiver. I think that would be great for the Ravens. And he said, and maybe get TJ Tampa rolling as CB3. Okay, so TJ Tampa, a sneaky fit right there. And TJ Tampa, they obviously love TJ Tampa because he would get hurt, then they bring him back. They put him on injury reserve, then they bring him back. So they kept giving him opportunities. Not really opportunities on the field like that, but on the roster. And obviously, you're not going to cut what was he, a 4th-round pick? Or a 5th-round pick? I think a 5th-round pick last year. You're not going to cut him. But still, the way that they kept him around and active on a lot of game days too. So, okay, they see something in TJ Tampa. And he said, one last thing, just for some fun. Trademark our 1st-round pick, Brandon Stevens, and a 5th. Well, Brandon Stevens is a free agent, so you can't trade him. So you got to take him out of that. So trade Mark Andrews, our 1st-round pick, and a 5th-round pick to New York for their first pick number 3 and a 7th. Oh. So you trying to move up, go from 27 to 3. So to move up 24 spots with a 1st-round pick and Mark Andrews and a 5th, you think that'll do it? To move up 20, but the Mark Andrews, that does bump it up. Because obviously a 1st for a 1st, going from 27 to 3, that's ain't happening. Like, they going to look at that like, please. When you throw Mark Andrews in there, I honestly don't even think that would be enough to move up from 27 all the way to 3. Even with a Mark Andrews, even with our 1st and with a 5th too, that wouldn't be enough. You would need a lot more than that. Next question came from my guy Will, and good timing with this one. He said, Justin Tucker's last kick as a Raven. With how the NFL is investigating into Justin Tucker's allegations and the Ravens being quiet on the whole situation. Now, he sent this on February 23rd. So he sent this yesterday. So good timing with that. Because now, tomorrow, they won't get to be so quiet on it. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. He said, do you think Tucker will be back as a Raven next season or in a jersey at all? As a Raven, no. I do not think that he will be back as a Raven at all. Still kicking, I think there is a possibility for that. He said, keep up the amazing work and doing what you do. Much love to the family and to the flock. I appreciate you, Will. Thank you. Lamar's new haircut. Next question came from my guy, Jacob. He said, what's good, Ingraven? What's up, Jacob? He said, hope you're doing well. I appreciate the quality of your videos and the time you make for us. We're truly grateful. I appreciate that, man. I seriously do. I really do, because thank you for that. That that really does mean a lot to me. With comments like that, because they're very, very special. And the videos, they do take a lot of work, but we enjoy it though. We enjoy it, and I appreciate y'all for even providing this opportunity to us, because had it not been for y'all supporting, then we wouldn't be able to do this. So I appreciate y'all a lot. He said, this is my first time sending a question. He said, and I have to know, have you heard about Lamar's new haircut? Yeah, I follow Lamar Jackson on Instagram, so I see it. He just got a blowout. That's it. He just got a blowout. He got his hair straightened for whatever he gonna do next to it. Whether he gonna throw in braids in it, whether he gonna throw in get twists, whatever he gonna do. It's just, so it's not really a new haircut. It's just he got his hair done. So it ain't no crazy deal. Next question came from my guy Marcelo. He said, Ingraven, I have a quick question to ask before we enter free agency. What do you expect for Eric DeCosta to do? Would you like Stephon Diggs, Jair Alexander, or even re-sign Ronnie Stanley and A.W. or Darius Washington? So as far as those, Stephon Diggs, good receiver, but and if the Ravens sign him, I'd be cool, but I just feel like other receivers will complement the Ravens better. I wouldn't be mad at a Stephon Diggs, but I just feel other receivers would complement what the Ravens, because Stephon Diggs, great receiver. He's like exactly what we have already, with a Rashad Bateman, with a Zay Flowers. And again, it will be similar to Deontay Johnson, but just a better receiver who ain't got so much locker room stuff. Stephon Diggs, hey, once he get tired of being on the team, he gonna get to tweeting and whatnot. He gonna get to tweeting them Drake lyrics and all that. But I don't feel like he would be the best fit for the Baltimore. They could get it done still, but yeah. But anyway, Jair Alexander, excellent cornerback, amazing cornerback. Great cornerback, injury prone. He just be hurt a lot. So if he were to get cut from the Packers, and the Ravens got him at a reasonable deal, then I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. But I don't know. I would just want to, again, say what you want about Brandon Stevens. I get it, but Brandon Stevens ain't have no injury concerns at all. Not a single one. Showed up literally every single game. I don't even remember him really coming off the field like that for an injury. I remember one time I think in a Bengals game a couple years ago, he had like a head injury, but other than that, no. Like, that man don't miss time. He don't miss games. He just don't miss. So Jair Alexander is obviously a better cornerback than him, but health is wealth. Re-signing Ronnie Stanley. That's an interesting one right there, because I would love for Ronnie Stanley to stay. It's scary though. And the NFL is, what have you done for me lately? And what I'm thinking with that, Ronnie Stanley, we know injuries every single year except last year. That was the only one. So do you give him big money, like, hey, based off of that, or do you think about the history too? It is so tricky. And he's saying, and Darius Washington not a free agent, so he ain't got to worry about that. So another question is, do you expect the Ravens to get a wide receiver in the draft in the top 3 rounds if we don't get one in free agency? Ooh. Because, yeah, Tylan Wallace, free agent. Nelson Aguilar, free agent. So, yeah, right now the only guys on the roster, on the active roster, would be Zay Flowers, Bateman, and Tez Walker. So first 3 rounds, first no. Second, nah, I don't think so. And third, maybe, but nah. So I would say no. I don't expect it. And he said, thanks, all love, and keep doing what you're doing. 100K subs coming soon. Maybe one day. That'd be great, but I appreciate you. This question came from my guy Thomas, who is also a Team Keep It Clean patron, so appreciate you, Thomas. He said, Ingraven, how are you and the family? We are doing pretty good. I hope you and your family doing even better. He said, hope all is well with you guys. My question for you is, I know it's extremely early and we aren't even in training camp, but how would you feel about potentially locking Zay up after this year with a 3 to 4 year extension? Zay Flowers, drafted in 2023, so 23, 24 season second year, and then 25 season year. Then he would be eligible, because you got to go through 3 years first, and then he would be eligible for a contract extension. They could do that. That would actually be the cheaper route to go if you're going to keep Zay Flowers, because you could do the 5th year option. You can pick up the 5th year option and still sign up to an extension. And then the extension would just go from the 5th year option. So they could do that. And I think Ravens are obviously going to look into every situation. Obviously, Zay, if he just continue to do what he's been doing, then he will be well on his way to getting a contract extension with the Baltimore Ravens. But I think it all depends on how they look at it. It all depends on how things are going. It all depends on how Zay Flowers is feeling about it too, because he got to be feeling it too. He's gonna have to want to stay, and I think he'll be in a position, especially where that the offense is going. Todd Monken's still going to be around, so the offense should continue to grow. His role should continue to grow and increase, and just the consistency of having Zay Flowers involved in the game. I hope that can increase as well, because there's a lot of times when Zay Flowers. It's crazy. He got 1,000 yards, and there will be some game. It's crazy with Derrick Henry. It was crazy with Zay Flowers. How there will be these games that, like, Zay Flowers got over 1,000 yards receiving. Derrick Henry got over 1,900 rushing yards, and it's wild because there will be games where they were like Zay Flowers specifically. He will be going off in the first half, then the second half, poof, never hear from him again. And he still cracked 1,000 yards. Derrick Henry, there'll be games where it's like, man, why y'all not using him? Then they start using him, and he still end up getting over 1,900 yards. So just through the inconsistencies of their usage, they were still able to amass those yards. So that's pretty good. He said, I think it'll be smart on our end before the cap continues to increase and he continues to ball out in Monken's system. I truly believe Zay is a potential number one option. I like it.